My name is Patrick, and this is Everyday Tech for Everyday People. This video falls under the category of not so everyday tech. A few months ago, I did a video on my Notion content WordPress plugin. In that video, I mentioned that I was going to submit this plugin into the WordPress directory. In this video, I'm going to give you an update on that plugin and take you through my experience of getting that plugin submitted and approved in the WordPress directory. Let's get into it. First, let me start off by saying I now have my first plugin in the WordPress directory. It's called Content Importer for Notion. And yes, I did change the name from Notion Content to this name. And I'll tell you why in a moment, why I had to change it to this name. But first, let me give you a quick demo of this plugin, just in case you're here for the first time, or if you're returning from the previous video, you can see how I made this plugin more complete. Let me get into a quick demo of the content importer for Notion, formerly known as the Notion Content plugin. Let me say this up front that this plugin is made for basic Notion databases. And in other words, if you have more complicated databases with a lot of relations or even a lot of columns, this plugin is going to ignore those columns. What it really wants to do is grab the content within each of these rows here. And then the content is just really basic content, the basic blocks. So if you have databases within a database, so let's open up my first page here. Let's say I have another embedded Notion database. It's not going to work. Basically, it wants to grab content, basic content. And so here we have paragraph content, we have content with links, we have the heading, we have bold, we have all these formatting, we have the bullet points, we have the toggles, we have even the basic tables, HTML tables. This is going to be brought into your WordPress website. So let's go into the WordPress website I have here, and you can see all the content here is being brought into my WordPress site. So anything more complicated than that, it's not going to work. The purpose of this plugin is to really bring in content either on a full page or even snippets of your web page or website. Let's say you have a little panel or a window that you want to have that changes all the time and someone else manages. They could just manage this Word Notion database there to have that content show up there. And those are some of the updates I'm going to try to bring for this plugin in the next couple of weeks, especially on the messaging, trying to really tell you what the purpose of this plugin is for. A lot of people have been testing this out and been trying to do really complicated databases, kind of embedded databases within a database. Those kind of things that are not going to work. And with hundreds of rows, many columns, this is not the purpose of that plugin. What those users really want is a magical way to have all their Notion database content onto WordPress automatically and create this whole entire website for them. This is really just to pull snippets of content into your WordPress pages. So let me give you an example of how I'm using it actually. So I created a website for all the plugins that I want to create and I'm creating. So I have content importer for Notion. If you go into the documentation here, all the content here on the right side is pulling from Notion. So I have one place that I can just kind of manage all the documentation that I have for this plugin. So anytime I make any updates to there, I refresh it in my WordPress website here, and it's just a great way to just manage the content. Jumping into the WordPress admin, we're here in the main page of our plugin, and here we have the four different pages that you correspond to our Notion database here. So if I add a new row and I hit refresh content, a new row will show up here. Now, when you hit refresh content or when you refresh an individual page, what that does is it brings in the contents of Notion in your Notion page and it translates it into HTML and stores it into your local WordPress database. Now, the reason why we do that is we don't want to just call an API call to Notion every time someone visits your site. First of all, you'll probably go over your API quota if you have a very popular site, and it'll be a lot slower that way. So really, in a sense, we're caching the contents from our Notion database into WordPress. The way you display the content is through shortcodes, and I'm not going to get into what shortcodes are. Shortcodes are a very basic function of WordPress, But really, this allows you to plug in the content from Notion into any page, into existing content, or just make it the sole content of a page. Now, because we are bringing content in, refreshing content from Notion via the API, we have this refresh page here, or we can have it automatically refresh every 15, 30 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours, once a day. That way, you're not always slowing down your website by calling an API. If you have content that's changing all the time, then you want to do every 15 minutes. If it only changes very rarely, you could do it once a day, or you could just manually refresh the content. And then moving on to styles, we can add classes to all the elements that we're bringing in from Notion. So we have every type of HTML field that we do support. And then you can also add your custom CSS classes as well. Then finishing off, we have our settings here, and there's more settings, how it deals with images, how it deals with those simple tables. And of course, setup is where we put our API key and database URL. So this has been a quick demo of this content importer for Notion. You can find it now in the WordPress directory. So let's say you've created a WordPress plugin and you want to submit it to WordPress. Well, there's a few things that you need to do even before you submit your plugin for review and to get your code ready. First, of course, make sure your code or plugin is bug free. Make sure it doesn't generate any kind of error messages or warning messages. And I'm not talking about those errors that cause your plugin to crash, but even some of those warnings that are generated by PHP. A lot of web hosting companies, they suppress that warning message because it's not a good experience for the end user, but make sure it doesn't generate any kind of errors or warnings. Then you want to make sure it follows the WordPress rules and guidelines, and you can find those guidelines on the WordPress.org website. Then you need to create the proper README file. This README file is what gets displayed to the user and also gives a lot of different information to the WordPress directory automated system as well. And there is a README file validator. And then importantly, whatever dev environment you're using to test out your WordPress plugin, whether it's locally or on a remote server, make sure you install the plugin check plugin in your WordPress instance. Now, this is an automated system that tests your WordPress plugin for any errors and gets it ready for submission. Now, this is the same kind of test that a human reviewer is eventually going to make or run, and they're going to give you feedback, the same kind of feedback this automated system would tell you, or any errors that it checks for. So it probably takes care of maybe 90–95% of the errors that you may possibly have. And I'm going to go through some of the errors or some of the things that really what WordPress is looking for to get your WordPress ready for use by the public. So let me go through some of the feedback I got both from the automated system and from the human reviewer. And the first one actually came from the human reviewer is the name of my plugin. So I had to change it from Notion Content to Content Importer for Notion. And the reason is it's more of a trademark issue or a potential trademark issue. The word Notion content kind of implies that it came from Notion. So they wanted me to change it. I could still use the word Notion in there, but it can't give any confusion of where this plugin is coming from. So they suggested Content Importer for Notion, and I was able to change it to anything I wanted to as long as they approved it later on. But I just already went ahead with their suggestion, which is not a bad suggestion. That changes your URL or your slug, and then it changes, of course, the title. So you need to update all your code that shows that title in there. Of course, a lot of my functions had Content Importer, and I just went ahead and changed all those functions names, which I didn't really need to do. But anything that's displayed on the front end and the URL and the title of the plugin needs to be changed. So there's no confusion there. But I went ahead and did that. It didn't take me too long. I used some AI tools to help me change all the functions, but that was the first step of just changing that name. The next category of feedback that I got from both the automated system and the human reviewer is in the matter of security. And this is probably about 95% of the feedback that you are going to get through this whole review process. And the first category of security is in the matter of sanitation. Sanitation, as far as code is concerned, is to validate input that's coming in. So basically, any kind of data that's coming in from outside of WordPress, whether it's through a form that a user fills out or through a third party source, just like Notion in my plugin here via the API, it needs to be sanitized. It needs to be validated to make sure that there's no special characters that someone can really cause some problems, some cross scripting code that may be executed on your website, or some SQL injections that they can do some cause real problems to your website. So there are over probably 50 plus sanitation, built-in sanitation WordPress functions. So anything from text, input text, text areas, drop-down options, anything that you have needs to be sanitized, needs to be put through a function. And basically, we're relying on WordPress to update these sanitation functions to help take care of the latest type of potential attacks that other users can do or other malicious actors can do. So basically, you're relying on them to sanitize your data as long as you use their built-in sanitation functions, so you don't have to worry about those kind of things. And there are a lot of different sanitation functions. The next security measure that you have to put in is using what is called a nonce, Nonce. A nonce in WordPress is a number used once. It's like a security token. Actually, it's not just a number, it's a total whole hash, kind of a string of characters. And this is used to protect against cross scripting requests. So a bad actor or a bot or some kind of system would try to submit to your WordPress plugin from another server. And they sometimes might even mask it where makes it look like it's coming from the same server. Now, using a nonce creates a hash, and that hash is validated by the script on the next request. So basically, it validates that unique user, and so it doesn't allow another user or a bad actor from another server to execute code on your WordPress plugin. After going through a total of 2 rounds of reviews, the second time was a lot shorter. They did give me some feedback on some other security holes that I could patch up. They approved it and they gave me instructions on how to get my plugin up to the WordPress directory via SVN. There's a lot of documentation, step-by-step instructions on how to get this done after you're approved. And overall, my experience has been great. I appreciated all the feedback that I got, both from the automated system and the human reviewer. And I really appreciate why they're going through this whole review system, especially as it relates to security. You don't want to be the reason why a WordPress site gets hacked into because of a vulnerability in your plugin. Now, with that said, I'm going to continue to update this plugin because I want to make sure I'm up to date on the security issues that may pop up. And I have some more features that I want to put in. But also, I have more plugins that I have in mind. And actually, I'm almost ready for another plugin that I'm going to preview for you right now. And I think this is more exciting than this plugin that I have here. Let me give you a quick demo of a WordPress plugin I've been working on called Form Sync for Notion. This allows you to create HTML forms for users to fill out via a Notion database. And then when they filled out that information, it stores it into your Notion database. So yes, you can create forms in Notion right now, but those forms are very simple. It doesn't allow you to give you so much control as far as styling is concerned. And also, it doesn't allow you, as of this recording, to even embed it into your own website. So this will allow you to just directly use it via a shortcode and put it into your WordPress site. So I have my Notion form database here. I have 3 columns: name, email, message, which corresponds to these form fields here. I've already embedded it in here, and you see name, email, message. But of course, we want to add some more fields. So let's go into our Notion database. Let's add a phone field. And we go back into our plugin and refresh the fields. And we see that there is a phone field, phone number field. Now we can just drag and drop and bring it in here. So I can hit save and it'll save our form. Now that when we go back to our WordPress page, I hit refresh, the phone field now shows up. And then one thing is this form is kind of ugly. So we want to be able to customize the styles. So you can go into your styles area and also customize the CSS. But another thing I added here is something called an AI prompt helper. We can use tools like ChatGPT or Gemini, and I can say, you want to describe in 1 or 2 words what the style you want for your form. So I'm going to say clean. And what that does is it copies the HTML code and the prompt that you can just paste into ChatGPT. So let's go into ChatGPT right now. I'm going to go ahead and paste what I have here, and it's going to generate CSS code for me. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up this process, and you can see the CSS code that it's generating. So now it's finished generating the CSS code. I'm just going to go ahead and copy that, and we're going to paste it into our custom CSS here, save the styles. And once we go to our form, I'm going to hit refresh, and now we have a clean HTML form. Of course, once I fill out this form, it should show up as a field or a row in my Notion database. And we can also customize things like the confirmation page. So this is a new plugin I've been working on. I'm really excited about this. I have a lot of different ideas as far as functionality with this form. This should take Notion forms to another level. I'll leave a link in the description below to the WordPress directory listing of my content importer for Notion plugin, and also to the GitHub page for the form sync for Notion plugin project page as well. Once I get that form sync for Notion plugin submitted to the directory, I will do another dedicated video on that plugin and tell you what direction I'm going with that plugin. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Consider hitting that subscribe button. Till the next one, see ya.